Welcome to Total Technique. We are here talking about tension and how to avoid tension, what it might look like, what it might feel like, and all things tension related. So thank you for joining me. If you've never been here, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. This lesson is pre-recorded today because my future self is hopefully having some fun in the sun, but the chat is still live and I should be in the chat. There I am. Okay, so all technique goodness coming to you today. If you have any questions as we are moving along, generally I would be able to answer them, but it might have to hold off till a future lesson, or a mod or I can help answer it, or the great community that we have joining us today. Okay, so, I have to wrap my head around live lesson. I just filmed the practice videos, which are below. So yes, after this lesson, which you can practice during, ask questions, everything like that. There is a practice along for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So this lesson is for all levels, any age. We're going to talk about tension. It's one of my favorite and worst topics. It's easy to talk about because no matter what level you're at, you're going to be dealing with tension. So it's something for everyone to discuss. But we unfortunately have to talk about it all the time. So anyway, we're here to talk about it. And generally getting just being mindful of it is half the battle, or maybe not. Because I guess once you reach tension, it's I feel it. I guess starting from point one. Point one? Starting position? I don't know. Pole position? Just kidding. We're just going to talk about tension. So, what creates bad tension? Bad hand posture. There could be weakness in some of your fingers because then you're compensating in your strong fingers, which can lead to tension. Incorrect finger patterns on the keys. I know in the practice, one of the practice videos, we use F major, which uses 4 on B flat, which is kind of different. So if you're not paying attention to what fingers you use, that obviously kind of gets your brain thinking and there might be tension. For me, my tension comes in my shoulders. My teacher would stand behind me and push my shoulders down every time they would start coming up. And honestly, when I was playing a song, she was saying, Cassie, you have to relax. And I'm like, I am. She said, okay, I'm going to stand behind you and I'm just going to keep my hands here. So anytime my shoulders came up, they would reach and tap her hands. And I'm playing, and literally every measure was my shoulders would just come up. It's so easy to build up tension, but building the strength and being aware of it is very helpful. And like I said, it's a lot of it is mental. So helping prepare our minds, working on different memory tactics to help us know and remember what is coming up is very helpful as well. And also knowing the different key signatures. So if you're learning a new key signature and trying to play at a speed that you can play C major or G major, some easier scales at, you're probably going to build up tension and fumble along your way. Maybe you're a prodigy and a miracle child, and that's not the case. And if that is the case, we all cheers you. And what are you doing here? I'm just joking. We love anybody here. But again, there's tension at every level. So one thing, is I do not speak to injuries. If you have any wrist, arm, or finger or hand injury, take what I say with a grain of salt. Obviously, that you might be in a different boat, but take what you can, give it a try. And I am not accountable, not held responsible. Anyway, let's start with some hand wrist exercises. Circles. side to side, loosen up those wrists. One great thing to start with is some Hanon. Or if you're not into Hanon, you could just start with like an easy 5-finger scale with something you know. Now, I'm gonna go to the side camera here. When you are playing, I shouldn't sit with my legs crossed. Actually, that's one thing. Correct posture at the piano. Heck, let's get into that. Feet flat on the floor, arms straight out. If you're bunched up, you might not be able to move around. If you're stretching far out, well, try to write something stretched out. You need to be a little bit closer for more control. So, sitting properly at the piano, wrists, arms level. If you want, you could try standing up, and you should be able to stand up and sit down easily. Maybe you're playing standing up, in which case, again, that doesn't matter. But wrist level, nothing too high. Relax the shoulders, sitting up nice and tall, yet relaxed. It took me a while to figure that one out. Tall yet relaxed. It's like, I'm tall, but I wasn't relaxed. So, once we have that, let's start with a 5-finger scale, hands together. We're gonna start with the thumbs together and just tapping each finger 3 times. And I'll go to the side camera in a second. So thumbs, it's more about the lifting than the actual playing. Now finger 2s, when you lift from this knuckle joint, this knuckle joint. And don't straighten your finger out. And try to keep the other fingers on the keys. So now lifting finger 3s. It's like a little tap into the key. You could also do this on the fall board or just on a desk. Now I'm doing finger 4s, which are excruciatingly hard. And finger 5s. And let's play 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, nice and slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you've been playing piano for a while and you kind of know like the feel, I would suggest moving on to like the C scale, and I'll play it for you now. With a nice level wrist. You don't need to see the keys. I'd like to see you from the side. So when you do the cross under, make sure your elbows don't come up. Maybe I will go from here. The elbows are used for arpeggios. With scales, we don't use our wrist to help twist because it's mostly in the fingers. So the cross under happens right here. And this is where a lot of tension can build up. Is being able to get to and from a cross under nice and smoothly. So right here, just practicing like where the cross unders are is really important. Because your goal for this is to be able to play fluently. I kind of intertwine those notes or those words. But you want to be able to play a scale going up and down at least 1 octave. And when you have like an elbow coming out here, that not only takes like an extra amount of time to get there, but it's very easy to thump on the notes and stuff. And where you might find tension building up with scales is in your hand. So if it's here, you might be pressing too hard into the keys. So go a little bit less in the keys. Wasted energy pressing too hard in the keys is just going to, again, build up the tension, but it will make your playing slower and harder to get to the next keys. So what I would suggest also, let's maybe move to the left hand to give that a try, is playing staccato. So starting from the pinky finger, your staccato can either be like a little wrist staccato like this. It's kind of a mix between like a finger staccato where it's like a little brush on the keys and a wrist. The staccato helps you get to the bottom of the key and play precisely, and it helps release the energy. So if your problem is continuing to push in the keys and playing too hard, a light staccato touch will be very helpful. And when you play normal, it has a different feel. And we go through that in one or more of the practice videos. We go between like practicing staccato. Staccato helps with so much. I've used it before. It helps with tone production, playing like accurately with the right time, and it will help just relax in between. When you are speeding up scales, this is also a very classic place where tension builds up. You want to do small groups building up to more notes at a time. So I would suggest starting with like, let's take F major. I think I use this in the videos. Yes, I do. So using F major, just playing 5 notes at a time, and then adding like 1. Shake out in between. We slowly build up like the endurance for playing a longer scale. Our fingers get to practice playing fast, but we're not stumbling through all of the notes trying to find our way. We're getting used to just a few notes at a time and then adding a little bit and a little bit. I think of my kids like playing on our streets. We live in a cul-de-sac, but like my youngest is allowed to go to the lamppost, and then the next time, okay, now you can go to like this spot, but stay close, the next spot. So it's like as you build up, you can go a little bit farther and farther to get used to it before a car comes. And then you run to the side. But with piano, you shake it out. Shake out the tension. Right? Right? How you guys doing in the chat? Doing these pre-recorded lessons, I love them. I still feel like the energy from them, but it does feel a little lonely. I'm sure we're all having fun together. Past, present, and hopefully, again, like I always say, I hope future Cassie doesn't show up. Because then we're in a loop of something, time continuum, something being very weird. Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to mention with scales. Oh, right, the different finger patterns and scales. So you will not always be using, like in C major, we will not always go 1, 2, 3, cross under, and so on. Because there are some scales that start on the black keys, and we don't use the thumb on the black keys with scales. So as you move along, they will get more complicated, unless obviously you go to F major, which is pretty close to C major. C major just has no black keys. F major has 1 black key. So in the right hand, like I said before, you go to your 4, and then you do a cross under. And you actually don't use your pinky finger in this scale. So different scales will cause different things. That's why we start a little easier with like C, G, D. Follow the circle of fifths. Go to the right side, and then C, G, D, A. And then if you do the other side, going down from C, you go to F, which is kind of a little trickier in the left hand. And then you go to B flat. And let's challenge yourself, but don't let that be the first one you start with, because F is really difficult. Honestly, the concentration power I needed to play for the practice video took off a year of my life, it felt like. It's very tricky. But anyway, that's scales. So keeping your wrist level, don't press too hard into the keys, and if you do, practice staccato. If you find you are struggling with that cross under, work on the thumb movement, stretching to the note that you need. And then when you're speeding up, work on it in groups. So adding, honestly, 1 to 2 notes every time. You can use metronome. I have this thing in because, yeah, we will be using metronome a little bit. Or you know what? I was going to use it with scales. Let's do that a little bit. One quick pass with scales, speed, and then we'll move on. What should we do? 90? Da, 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 da. Okay, now a little bit slower. Let's do 80. Rest. That's a good one. Okay, so what we're gonna do, you can try this along with me. Let's just do C major. 4 notes per tick. Rest, 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 rest. And we'll repeat that. Rest, rest, and then back down. And the next pass through, we add up to B. So we're gonna start and end with the tick always. So 1, 2, to the G. Rest, rest, and relax. 1, 2. Okay. How did that feel? Were you stomping around? Pressing too hard? That's okay. Try it staccato. Rest, rest. And then play it normal again. Rest, rest. Nice. Allowing yourself to rest it gives you permission to actually like release the tension and not hurry on to the next thing. Now we're going to B. So up to here. 1, 2, here we go. Rest, 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 rest. And then the next step would be to continue on. But anyway, that's why I had my earbud in. Not that you guys knew maybe or cared, but I'm gonna take it out now. Feels better. Okay, on to triads. Triads are tricky because obviously you move over the keys quite a bit and you don't have to, but I like 100% recommend to use the same finger pattern. So triads are really nice because using finger 2 in the right area will help immensely. Let's talk about maybe just what to watch out for with tension. Yeah, let's do that. Am I in the right one? I am. Okay, good. Let's talk about tactile memory. So we mentioned earlier, it's good to know like your key signatures to help your brain be comfortable with what's coming up, and also your tactile memory or how something feels on the keys. So with triads, every single key signature is the same with these, which is very nice. So with scales, fingering patterns can change. But with arpeggios, no, not arpeggios, with triads, we always use in root position 1, 3, 5. Then in the next inversion, we always use 2 in the middle in the right hand. Your fingers should not be down the keys like this. This is just to show you what fingers I'm using. There we go. And then when you move to the next inversions, 2 in the left hand. And then when you end root position at the top, your 3s play again. So root position, 3s, then right hand plays first with finger 2, and left hand 2, and then 3s again. Any key signature uses the same ones, whether you start on a white key or a black key. So keep that ingrained, it will help a lot. Now, the next thing is when you actually play a chord, tension can build up if you continue to press into the notes longer than you need to. And really longer is anything other than a split second. So the split second, as soon as you play the chord, everything else, imagine there's like a helium balloon floating away with your tension. So I'm still holding the notes down, but my elbows can come up to help remember to pull the energy or release the tension. That's actually a really good thing to practice. Let's do that. So play me C major. Elbows float up. Dangle that wrist. Now on to the next inversion. You can do this hand separate or hands together. So play into the keys. Grab the keys and relax. Up, 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 up. And now pretend you're gonna like just strike the keys nice and strong, but relax, release the energy. You like my sound effects? Root position. And you like that? I have to get close to the mic, unless it sounds scratchy, whatever. Okay, so that is kind of the effect you want to feel when you play triads, and our goal, it is to play them quicker in between. But the more you play, the easier it is to relax, and the easier it is to move between the keys once you have that tactile memory set in. So another way to strengthen that is to go back and forth between the triads. What triad should we use? I could be very mean or very nice. You know what? Let's do D minor. It's still all white keys. Just a step up from C major. Okay. You can do this hand separate or hands together, but we're gonna bounce a few times between the first two inversions. And then you can land back in root position, that's totally fine. And then go back and forth between broken with those. So up, up, down, down. This is one of the practices for actually all of the levels. So you play solid, and then you go through it broken. Because going back and forth, as long as you're using the right fingering, it's a lot easier. And then you go between the next inversions. I'm going to show you from the side here what it looks like. See how my wrists, they start level, and it's just a little push. And when you push, think of your wrists being the shock absorbers. So they go down into the keys, they help bounce you out. Kind of think of flinging your wrist and your hand up with the force of the grabbing of the keys. So bouncing back and forth. This one's tricky because you have to bounce with right hand 2, left hand 2. And then broken between those. I'll show you from the side here so you can see how those wrist circles work. You can go back and forth. Using your wrists to help play is very good, because if your hand is set up in the position it needs to be in, your wrist circle, it's just like a little push. You're pushing that finger right into the slot, right into the keys. And then the last thing, is second inversion to root position back at the top. And what this is working on is ingraining that tactile memory so that you will be able to play up and down, solid and broken. It's also helping in strengthening your visual memory. What ones do we have? We have visual, audio, tactile, motor, and analytical. Hot mama, I got it. All right. So, the repetition, just like anything in life, is really important. And sometimes it just means repeating one chord to get this movement in or this movement in. Sometimes it's going back and forth. One more thing with triads. Oh, we're on minor. The top two notes are the anchors for the next chord. So sometimes just focusing on one note to kind of be your anchor point, what the other notes shift around, can also help. So those two stay the same. But honestly, for me, what really helps is getting the hand shape before I land there. So here, this is already what I need after the root position. So root, and then my hands automatically go here. So my 2 is ready in my right hand, and then 2 is ready in the left hand. I could play it kind of in the air, and that's a really good thing to practice. If you can go back and forth between two inversions, maybe not talk at the same time, and then look up, look away. Sometimes it's harder to look away with our eyes open rather than closing our eyes. At least for me. I don't know why. All right, and then this memory, you can hear if I voice the top note, you can hear that top note singing out, I think. That helps with that too. Sound good? I hope so. How are you guys all doing? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Let current Cassie know in the chat, my future self. It's always weird to think that there will be a future me. Though, I don't want it to be not future me. Jeez Louise, let's not get into this type of talk right now. Okay, so basically your aim for triads is to not continue to press into the keys once you have played a chord, whether you're doing triads or actually like chording a song. Don't continue to press into the keys. I want you to float up. And any bass notes too. That goes for any held note. Don't continue to force that down. And always just shake out the tension. It's good to build up strength. And obviously there's going to be some tension when we build up strength. But allowing yourself to relax. Don't push through that tension. You do sometimes, but don't push through the tension. You want to figure out if it's tension or like muscle strength you're building. And that's sometimes hard to decipher, but we'll get there, right? It's basically if you can take a break and then play it again a little bit easier, then it was just tension and just needed to be released, I think. Anyway, all right, guys, on to arpeggios. And last, but definitely not least, is arpeggios. So what I always say with arpeggios, which kind of goes with anything, is accuracy over speed. But it's very easy to be inaccurate with arpeggios because we play so few notes over so much of the piano. So we have to be very precise. We're not playing like this, but for some reason, this is what that reminded me of. Anyway, with arpeggios, well, I didn't have a key signature written down for this one either. Oh, did I? Nah. Let's do A minor. Oh, that's fun. Okay. So first off with arpeggios, let's start with proper form. So letting that wrist help guide you along. And it's same thing like broken triads where we kind of use the wrist to just shift the fingers into the keys. Like think of that with arpeggios. It's even more like spokes of a bicycle wheel. I say this all the time. Playing these hands together helps you see how the wrists move, not only in tandem, but if you've got one wrist like me, the right hand, it's the strong one, it will maybe move to like in the correct place. The left hand might be a little stiffer. So if your arpeggios look like this, you're gonna build up tension a lot of places. What we need to do or work on is getting your fingers comfortable for their hand position. I know I'm using finger 4 on the C right now. You can use 3 instead. That's one place where you can kind of interchange the fingers. But you want your wrist to help guide those fingers into the keys rather than staying stretched out, because staying like this will build up tension, obviously everywhere. Relax. Retracting the hand and pivoting it into the notes is what you want with arpeggios. Same thing with right hand. It's hard because you have to use your peripherals to see where the notes are that you need to play. It's a lot of motor memory, but also the tactile memory, like knowing how far of a distance to prepare your fingers to play the notes. Now, if in the right hand you are using the Chopin pattern, you're going to start with your 2, 4, 1, 2. So 2, 4, 1 is the pattern, rather than 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. And this could help with like tension as well, because you want to find a finger pattern that works well for you. Again, with triads, it's always using the 2 and the 3 in the same spot. And if you're onto 4-note chords as well, which is basically a solid arpeggio, this is A major, going back to triads, I think, using the same finger pattern in each inversion, in each key signature, is also what we do for 4-note chords. But anyway, for arpeggios, you can change it up in the right hand, but the Chopin pattern, again, it just uses the hand span where there's a large gap in the notes. So, accuracy. Just try 1 octave back and forth. I think we've done that already. Now, in the left hand, a good idea, because arpeggios can tire you out. So start with your elbow out. Start with your thumb on A. Start like you're ending an arpeggio here, and then continue. So it's 1, 3, 2, 1. So it's 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. That will be the pattern up and up the piano. Oops, but let's just work on 1 octave. 1, 3, 2, and back down. When you only do 3 notes, it feels really weird with, whoops, the spokes of a bicycle wheel. It feels like the wrist is doing a little less, but it will come into play. So open up the elbow, leave space for things to work here. And when you're ready, you can add in this A at the top. And slowly, you can speed it up. See, for me, there's already tension. I can feel it building up here. And you know what I found? I think I was playing too high into the keys. So, my arm was a little too high. If I bring it down and just use the weight of my arm to kind of play the notes, that's actually a lot more helpful. You'll find with different, a combination of black and white keys with different keys, that it might be easier to move your hand higher or lower. But for A minor, we can play just in this strip of the white keys right here. See how flat my wrist is. And then relax in between. I feel the tension building up, but that's okay because I'm releasing it now. And as I move on, like that's building strength in my arm. So I'm gonna leave my left hand for now, and just move on to the right hand. I'll show you with the 1, 2, 3 pattern. So 1, 2, 3. You can join in with me. We're going to let the elbow help guide us. My wrist is pretty flat with this one too, which is good. If you play with a high wrist, sometimes we might need to, but right now we're not. And then place your 2 on the C. Oh, it's hard doing computer clicks and playing at the same time. So as my arpeggio starts, my elbow's in close to my body, and it helps pull it out. I don't always play arpeggios staccato, but you can give that a try. I just often lose my place on the keys. But what this does is, just like we practice with the scales, it helps release the energy. If you're, again, finding that you're pressing into the keys, if you're using this part of your arm to play louder or harder or to play a key, that's where the tension is going to build. So what you want, think of the energy shooting from like your triceps. And for me, it helps, it brings out my wrist, or brings out my elbow. Do like a little elbow circle. But yeah, arpeggios, slow and then faster, less and then more. That's basically with everything. Just adding in one note at a time, or a little bit of extra oomph, I was gonna say, for dynamics, to help gain dynamic, to get louder. Jeez Louise. Okay. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to make sure I got to the end of arpeggios because I already interrupted arpeggios going back to triads. Yes, we talked about the Chopin pattern. There is more on that in a lot of the total technique? I almost said Technique Tuesday, but it's not. It's the, okay, what was it? Wacky Wednesday? No. There's a lot of talk about the Chopin pattern, and someone can post more about that in the chat, but we talk about it a lot. So any total technique will go through the Chopin pattern practice. Okay, so with arpeggios, what you want to aim to get towards is 2 octaves. If you're a beginner, just the 1 octave is great, sitting back and forth here. And then work on to where 1 note is at a crossover, something like that. And then you want to aim to get 2 octaves, like that. And there are just ascending octaves, arpeggios, used in songs. It's a beautiful effect, I always think. Ascending. This is basically like a broken triad / arpeggio. I love the spa arpeggios. So if I use just my hand, honestly, right away, without any wrist movement, it's very fingery. If you use your wrist, for me, it just kind of softens the notes as we go. And I feel like I'm at a spa. The spa. Okay, last thing I wanted to go over was if you are ready to add like strength in your hand. start off by, actually I can close this now, with the fall board, which might be full of my kids' fingerprints. I did not look at this before. Is balancing just on your fingertips. So this is like the closing section that could have been at the beginning to warm up. Balancing just on your fingertips, seeing how strong that is. Because again, you want to build up the strength so that your fingers are reliable, so that when your mental power isn't worried about the weak fingers, that you're not compensating with your stronger fingers. And then balance on the other finger. So this, we don't want this to bend back. We also don't want the other fingers to be flying up. So relaxing those other fingers. Let's go to finger 4, balancing on 4. 5 is pinky finger, which is kind of tricky. The thumb, when you play your thumb, play on the corner tip as much as you can rather than thumping, because that's a lot stronger. Gotta make it balance out with the other fingers. And then after that, I can stay here. When you're ready to really strengthen, is balance one hand on your playing hand. And that just kind of adds a little bit of extra weight. We're not like looking to lift a lot of pounds here. Just like feeling the weight of your other hand is enough to help strengthen your fingers. Don't be like Schumann. He created a contraption that ruined his hands, which is quite disappointing. So then his wife Claire had to play them for him, and she was a piano player as well. So it worked out. Anyway, okay, so we went through scales, we went through triads, and we went through arpeggios. Thing with scales, don't continue to press into the keys. Make sure your elbows don't flap around like a chicken when you're playing. And when you're speeding up, just do one note at a time. Even when you're learning a new scale, do groups or small amount at a time. Just like we did with the C scale. Was it the C scale or the F scale? Just going back and forth. Feeling comfortable with that, and then pushing a little farther and a little bit farther. So that works with like notes at any level and speed at any level. Always being mindful to shake out the tension. With triads, there's 2 types. There's the solid and the broken. So solid, make sure you relax in between. Learn to prepare your hand for that tactile memory. And broken, I'll play that wrong. There we go. Use your wrist to help guide you along with a broken. If your hands are set up in that hand position, then using your wrist to just guide those fingers into the notes, lickety split, nice and easy. And then with arpeggios, accuracy over speed. So gain confidence by knowing exactly where your hands or your fingers are supposed to go, and then slowly speed up. And look where you're going if you need to. And don't talk at the same time. All right. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. If you had questions or have more questions, you can add them in the chat now. Add them in the questions tab. Hopefully the chat can be open for a little bit more. And then the next live lesson will be February 18th. So if there's something I need to demo, I'll see you then. But until then, have fun with the practices below for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I will see you next time. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Da, 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 da.